All right, folks. I'm live streaming, but I guess this is also being recorded. I hope. So we'll see. This is just going to be a little stage design session here with me whipping up 4 stages for the Wake Indoor match. So hopefully this will be helpful to some folks trying to get started with SketchUp. And this won't be a proper tutorial starting from zero, but it'll be you kind of see how I do it and hopefully figure out how you can do it too. So step number one is going to be all about just as a background. This is the one sort of tutorial thing I'll do. Is this 3D warehouse right here is totally your friend. The 3D warehouse is basically a cloud repository for people to upload all kinds of stuff that they've created, models, and well, it's models, but also groups of models. So basically, if you just come in here and search USPSA props, or IDPA props, or 3-gun props, or whatever, you'll find a bunch of these that you'll see some sample stages. You'll see those are usually set in some kind of bay, and then you'll see, just files with lots and lots and lots of props in it, targets, walls, plate racks, tables, activators, and stuff. Just download a couple of those and just grab what you need out of them. So, like, as an example, this is one of the ones I commonly use. This is another one I commonly use. They have different stuff in them. Like, this one has more walls and more steel. Not that I use those. And these just happen to be the custom props I've made over the years, or over the months. It's only been about 9 months since I started doing this. But custom props that I've made for this. So let's get started. So I'm going to start with the simplest stage, which is actually this month. It's going to be a stage from the IDPA classifier. This, by the way, is a bay that I adapted from one that already existed that is 45.5 feet wide, which just so happens to be the width of all the bays that I have in my club at the indoor range that we use. So step one right here is obviously just go in here. Just I'm middle clicking with the mouse to get this sort of rotate around a focal point kind of view. If I need to pan around, I'll hold shift and then do the same thing. That lets me go in and left side to side, and in and out is just scrolling in and out with the mouse wheel. So back in this other file, if you hear me hitting the keyboard, it's probably hitting escape a lot because that usually clears the current selection or whatever. Just click on what you want, Control C to copy it, Control V to paste it, place it where you want. So like I said, this is going to be borrowing from part of the IDPA classifier, and in there the targets are 2 yards apart. So in this particular case, so one shortcut I have done is I have rebound a key on my keyboard that's quicker to get to, but oh, hang on, got a Facebook comment coming in. We'll see if anybody's jumping on. Oh boy, we've got a viewer. Hey Chris, what's up? All right, so this is just, I rebound it to the move command. You just hit M to move things around. And so, right now, if I hit space, it clears that out. But if I hit M, then I can drag these things back and forth. If you see a little red line, that means it's dragging along the left-right axis. That is very useful. You want to stick with that. If you happen to drag something somewhere that you don't mean to, just Control Z. You'll see me undoing a lot that way. So we'll also use this tool. It's the dimension tool. You'll have to add it to your toolbar. I've already done that previously, but you can also get to it through somewhere in the menu. Yeah, dimensions right there. So just click one place you want to have the dimension drawn, click the other place you want the dimension drawn to, and then it's very contextual where you drag your cursor where it draws the dimension from. But in this case, we want it to be along that 90-degree axis, along that green axis. So we'll draw it there. So that tells me they're 2 feet 8 inches apart. I want them to be 6 feet because that's 2 yards. Boom, done. Again, just middle clicking to drag around, so they're not quite even. Hit M to move this guy a little bit, move him straight back. Pretty much good. So we'll have a dimension, and sometimes things just get kind of wonky, and oh, that one worked. But I was about to just change the angle I was looking at it from. Oh, like I'm not sure I can get the dimension I want here. So I'll just change the angle a little bit. There we go. All right, move this target 6 feet. If I wanted to, so what the way these props work, they are what's called groups. So all the models are a composite of multiple smaller models, and it makes it useful to be able to move multiple things around as a group. So like I could click, hold shift, select all these things. It's just like selecting anything on the screen. Right click, I could make them a group. Boom, now I can move them all as one. They're locked in their relationship to each other. If I do explode, which is actually the coolest command in an editor like this that I've ever used, all it does is just make them not a group anymore. Now, if I want, this is a group, but I don't want to stop treating it as a group, but I want to just edit it, components of it for a second. So I will edit the group, right click, edit group, hit M to move, and I can move this guy separate from all the other pieces. So I don't remember exactly how the IDPA doohickey works, but I think it's something like one of them is lower than the others. And again, the trick is sometimes you can't get the right angle. Like it wants to bring it out towards the camera, and I don't want that. So you just kind of use real fine control on the mouse and just kind of find where works to get the whatever prop it is where you want it to be. Actually, I realize I'm doing this all wrong because, again, the guys who make my props have already made my life easy for me. So we have a 4, a 5, and a 6 footer. So I'm just going to multi-select those, click, shift, click, so on. Just select all of this. Just delete it. We'll just drop these guys in. Move this guy over here. Redo the dimensions. Yeah, so like it wants to make the dimension in the floor right now, which is not super helpful. So I'll just come up here, put it right there, 6 feet, dimension, pretty close. And that's the cool thing about this is because it is, 3D and fairly realistic, you start to get a sense for how to, how to eyeball things. So the cool thing about dimensions is as you move the other props, they move with them. So I'm just going to kind of center these guys up in the bay. Boom. So again, this is part of the IDPA classifier. So the other props we're going to need, I'm zooming out, shift, middle click to pan around, just regular middle click to pan around. So we're going to need a barricade. So shift select that guy and a barrel. Do we have an individual barrel? Yes. So shift to select. I got both of those selected. Actually, this isn't going to work out great because when you copy and paste two things, you get them relative to their original orientation. Like if they're really far apart, they're going to be pasted into your other thing really far apart. So I'm going to copy and paste them individually so I can copy and paste them exactly where I want them. All right. So the barrel needs to be at 15 yards. One of the tricky pieces about the dimensions tool is you can't just like pick in the middle of a line. It wants to measure from either the middle of a line or the end of a line. So I'll just go to the corner here and measure from the corner to this barrel. Go to the front of the barrel. All right, so right now it's at 29 feet. We'll just move with the, press M to move. Use the move tool. And the cool thing about panning around is you can do it while you're manipulating other tools. So right here I'm just holding shift and middle clicking to drag the view around. And we'll drop this guy right at 45 feet, which happens to be on top of our barricade. So we'll drag the barricade back. The barricade's going to be at 20 yards, so 60 feet. Now rotation. Rotation is handy. You can do it. There is a rotation tool that is useful for other stuff, but generally speaking, you just want to click something, go to the move tool, So like right now I could drag it left, right, and all around, but I don't want to right now. But if you see these little red cross marks, those allow you can just click that, and then it'll just rotate around that. So, and they also snap to 90 degrees. So it's pretty easy to tell when you've moved something orthogonal to your grid, which I find myself using a lot. So that's the right orientation it needs to be. Again, we'll go to the corner to measure the dimension. We'll take the back side of the barricade, drag a mouse around until we get the measurement. Oh, look at that, 60 feet. That is awesome. And I can't really move it that last 1 inch just because it kind of snaps a little bit. So like if it moves at all, it wants to jump like a whole foot. So little pro tip here is when you have a dimension like this, you can actually just click on it and just edit the text. So I'm just going to do that and be lazy. Boom. Nailed it. All right. We'll just line these up as a little bit of perfectionism. And that's one simple stage done. So I will just go ahead and save that in my Dropbox under the SketchUp directory. I just make a new folder for every month. And this is going to be stage 4 in our match. And we're done. Okay, what is the next easiest stage to kind of show off? Let's go with this stage 1. Should be pretty simple, but it should be kind of helpful for showing off some of the 3D aspects of SketchUp. So I'll open up a new window here. Again, I previously, somewhere in the menus and stuff, you can make a template and use it as the default when you create a new SketchUp project. I've done that for this template that's just, I mean, really it's a box. You know, it's just a box that's the right proportional width. So this is going to be a little interesting 12-round stage. So we're going to need 6 targets, 1 little wall section, and some fault lines. So let me go over here into my little props document. So we're going to need, these are the walls we use. I just made a little custom SketchUp object. This is a 4x4 in a 5-gallon bucket of concrete that we have a bunch of at the range, and this is just an 8x6 tarp, and we use those for walls. So I'm just going to drop one of those in, and we'll need another. I'll just copy that, guys. So we have 2 posts because we need 1 on each end to hold it up. Grab a bunch of targets. Just going to use 5 footers for this. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, that was just copy and paste 6 times. Here is a barrel stack, because I don't think, sometimes we'll use, I think actually for these, we're going to need something more like this. Just a target stand with a cardboard backer on it. So, oops. So you see there, I started to do something I didn't want to. Just hit escape. Escape will usually get you out of most problems. Like this thing's selected right now, hit escape. Solves that problem. Now I can paste my new doohickey in. So this has got a no-shoot on it, stapled to this board, stapled to a target stand, which we'll use sometimes. But again, if I just... oh, it's a component? Okay, yeah, edit it just like a group. Delete the no-shoot. And actually ours, oh man, look at me doing this live. Ours happen to be a little bit wider than this. So I'm just going to grab the scale tool and just stretch this thing out a little bit on either side. Okay, why is it? Now it's coming through the sticks. Well, we'll just move it forward a little bit. Presto, perfect. Normally I wouldn't mess with editing things to this detail, but I am actually going to be using the 3D capabilities of SketchUp to check the angles on this stage. The angles make sense in my head. I don't know if they make sense in reality. So actually while we're at it, Okay, so this is 2'1", which is close enough. The actual pieces of cardboard that we use for target backers are 24 inches. So the idea here is it's a kind of memory-ish stage where you're going to only be able to see one of the targets from each array, from each end of the shooting area. So, like so, like so, like so. That's the idea. So the interesting part is going to be making the shooting area. So again, so I'm trying to drag this post around. For some reason it wants to drag it vertically, but if you just kind of fiddle around, it'll get the idea. Oh no, I actually want it back, not up. The idea here, and again, it wants to take it through the floor. Let's say I accidentally did that and I only notice it later. Control Z. Just Control Z, escape. Gets you out of a lot of problems. So the idea is going to be to have this tarp. Well, first of all, how far back do I want it to be? All of these guys should be back towards the berm. Again, you can just select everything, hit M to move. Just slide everything straight back. You see how it says on green axis? You got a little green dotted line. Tells you you're moving it straight back. I'm actually going to shift it towards the middle of the bay just for OCD purposes. Alright, so this thing, I'd like to have it kind of left and right, but also a little bit angled, so on one side you're closer than the other. So for that, we are actually going to break out the rotation tool. And the interesting thing about the rotation tool, I don't actually even know where it is on the screen. I just have it bound to Q on my keyboard just because, my left hand is always right there on the keyboard, and when you're doing this for hours at a time, it's nice to just have the button right there. So the trick with the rotation tool is you pick the axis you want to rotate around, and then you pick the point that you want to move. And so right now, where that red protractor looking thing is the axis this is going to rotate around, and right now it's not going in the direction we want it to, but this is just an example. So hit escape, get out of that. So the trick here is getting it so that it will let me rotate this very thin thing. Yeah, you see how the protractor is kind of parallel to the floor now? That's the direction that we want to rotate this thing in, is parallel to the floor. So I'm going to make it almost 90 degrees, but not quite. Move it roughly into the middle of these targets. Oh man, that's still awfully close. Just for fun, we're going to go ahead and drop a dimension here just to see how far these guys are. I was imagining the uprange side was going to be around 10 yards. So let's make this thing 10 yards. Yes, I do wish SketchUp would let me control things in yards instead of feet. However, for whatever reason, they don't. So I'm going to... Oh, yeah, and you see how this line is black? That means it's not actually moving it. Yep, now it's red. That means it's moving it straight left and right. And sometimes you just got to swivel around. Just, see if you're looking at it. It'll look right from one angle. Swivel around. You'll see it's not quite right from another angle. Boom. So I think this thing is about the way I want it, so I'm going to go ahead and make it a group. So now it's just one big thing I can drag around. Kind of square it up. Okay, so if we're a shooter guy, and we can only come out around the left side, can we see... Yeah, we can see the three targets, kind of. It's going to be a bit of a tough lean. We'll drag this guy a little bit over. Now if we come around this side, hey, looky there. Drag this guy a little bit over. Obviously it'll be a little bit more like this. But I think the fundamental idea for the stage is sound. So again, we'll just move this back to, oh come on. Yeah, so he wants to snap to that previous dimension. So you got to drag it away, drag it back 30 feet. Go back to my props document, grab a couple pieces of fault line. Boom. Grab a longer one for that. Boom. And one thing that I will do, again, this is just a little component, custom component I made up. I don't think you really need to do this, and you can use pretty much anything. I just have a little X that I just like to put on the models just to show the start position. Just sometimes helps people visualize the stage a little bit more clearly. So just for fun, Yeah, I don't know. We'll just have them start in the middle of the wall. There's not really much interesting to do with this stage with the start position. Well, let's put them right here on the left fault line. Ugh, this is one of the things I hate. It will sometimes try and drag it down into the floor. Usually it's just best to kind of get near the angle that it wants. Basically move it. Don't try and move it directly in and out from your screen. Get kind of an edge-on view and move it this way. Don't, because I can't really drag it in and out from here. I mean, I can, but it's super wonky. So I'm going to undo that, undo that. I am happy with that. And I get to go through all this again. Let's see. There's Dropbox. So this is going to be stage 1. All right, man, we're halfway done. This ain't so hard now, is it? Let's see. Sorry, I'm just checking to see if anybody's following or... Yeah, looks like... Guess, Chris, you must still be out there. All right. Stage 3 is going to be a little bit more tricky. Let's see. Oh, wait, no. No, well, yeah, stage 2 is going to be, like, super dumb as rocks. Okay. I forgot about this one. It was tucked in a corner of my diagram because I wasn't even worth noticing. Oh, and this will be an interesting opportunity to show the Geo warehouse because I'll need to go grab a table from it. Okay, so for this one, again, we'll just open up a new SketchUp window. Another empty 45.5-foot bay. So this one's going to be real simple. It's just 4 targets, all shoulder height, and we'll add a no-shoot. There's no no-shoot with this configuration yet, but we'll fix that. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then one guy all the way over here. We'll just grab this free-floating no-shoot, and obviously he's not attached to a target. You can just grab him and stick him on a set of sticks if you need to. There's one of those, but if you want one of these hardcover guys, you can also grab all those pre-made ones. Saves you a ton of time. So for this guy in the middle, just to be difficult, we're gonna put a no-shoot on this target. Now, again, this is one of those things you just got to experiment with in terms of actually getting it to line up. Like if I try and paste it right here, it'll overlap weirdly. What I found with these is the way you do it is you get it so you paste on the leg of the target, and then once it's there, you can drag it straight up, following the various axes, up, down, left, right, and it'll stay pretty much in the right spot. If you can get something on the right up, down axes, then it's easy to keep it there. Obviously, it'll try and drag it around, but you can always change your perspective. So I want this guy to be just making the A zone available, and so if we'll slide him back so he's just overlapping. I want to drag him down a little bit, but not out. Perfect. And yeah, we get to do this whole dance again, which yes, it is a bit of a pain, but it's probably the most annoying aspect of all of this. Everything else is pretty freaking sweet. So again, back this guy up so he's about flat. Man, doesn't that look like a nice little hard shot? Drag this guy over. Hey, you got the whole A zone. What are you guys complaining about? Alright. Whoop. Nope, not ready for that yet. Okay. Getting stuff from the 3D warehouse. So in this case, I need a plastic folding table. I really should just have a model for this already. I've had to go to the 3D warehouse to get it a couple times, and so I really should just save it, but it'll be a good example. So plastic folding table. There's actually, can't find the one. What was the one I used last time? Oop. You do have to be somewhat specific. There's one out there that's got a couple. Yeah, here we go. So you find this thing, you click on it, it'll show you a preview of it, and you click download, and it gives you two options. One is if you say no, it downloads it as a separate file in its own thing, and you can either save that locally or just do what I'm going to do and pull a piece out of it. If you say load this directly into your SketchUp model, it'll just drop it right in. Which, if it's a small thing, you might want. But since there are a couple items here and we only want one of them, I'm going to say no. It's going to download the file. I'm just going to open it in SketchUp. Yeah, read only, that's fine. And I'm just going to grab... so they're a group. So I'm going to explode. Make them explode. Grab this table, copy it, drop it in. Boom. Now, if I were to take this file and save it, that's how I got those other props files that I've used before. Super easy. So and actually I'm going to go ahead and drop this table into this props file with all the custom items I've used before. So now I'll have it for later. So this one is super simple as well. We're just going to start with the gun on the table. Gun and mags on the table. Luckily there are little props for that. Again, this thing is all one group. You can tell that it's got the whole table and the gun outlined in blue, so it's selecting the whole thing. So I will just edit the component so we can manipulate each item individually. Select the magazine, select this mighty fine, highly tuned, well-crafted 1911. Look at that skeletonized trigger. Anyway, grab that, plop it right here on the table. Make it a little more realistic. Move the gun so it's not pointing at us. Boom. Okay, and then this last target, the idea is it'll be a bit of an angled shot, but not too much. Drag these guys straight back to the berm. Lay down a measurement from the berm to this table. What the heck is going on? Nope, 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 there we go. What do you want to make this? 7 yards? 7 yards awfully easy. What's, yeah, that's 15. The other one was 10 yards, and that's going to be a hard lean. And we'll have some guys with carry guns at this one. I'll make it 7 yards. Have some pity on these guys. This will be the closest. Oop. So we're dragging the table without the gun. So we'll make sure to select the whole thing. Boom, 21 feet. The idea was, then they'd have to take a knee, shoot this guy under the table, though. Is that going to be feasible? Well, first of all, let's make him a lower target. Select him, delete him, go over to our props doohickey, hit escape to get out of that edit group mode. Zoom out, pan over, grab a lower target, get back to our file. It's still a little high, hit escape to get out of that. Let's get a real short guy. There we go, that's a little better. Yeah, that'll be fine. And where was that little, I'll just select the X, drop the X there. We're done with this, we'll close that. No, don't save changes. And we'll just drop some fault lines just to make it clear. Yes, this is the problem sometimes. You gotta check your angles on these, because it looked like I was placing it on the floor, but then it goes all MC Escher on me. So we'll just drop this guy down to the floor. Yeah, Sometimes you just got to play around with angles until you get it the way you want. Boom. And see, now that it's there, it's really easy just to move it along one axis, click, drop it, move it along another axis, rather than trying to move along two axes at once, because that's a good way to end up with it in the floor or something. So there's our shooting area. Go ahead and save this in our folder. Let's see, I had this as stage 2. And now comes the fun part, the big one, stage 3. We'll open up another blank window here. So this one's gonna be fun. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 targets, some barricades, some walls, some tarps, and a door. So we'll start at the beginning. Grab this door prop. Just kind of drop it in. Grab this USPSA dude. It's exactly the same as the other one I had. It really shouldn't make a difference. Whoop. Nope. Nope. Stop. Yeah, just hit escape. Escape is... Whenever you're doing something you probably didn't mean to, either escape or just click somewhere and Control Z to undo it. Alright, so let's grab some walls. Start building some tarp walls. Again, we got this 4x4 in concrete post model, which I just made using the push-pull tool and about an hour of beating my head against a wall. That was fun, but it worked out. It was worth it long term. So, got those guys. Drop this in. Just kind of place it roughly. Check the angles. Yeah, see, it's not quite right. Drop it in. So this is going to be a double wall. So we'll build that wall. Woo! Okay, this is new. This has never happened before. Okay, well, that was exciting. Alright, so we'll grab this whole wall. And we're actually going to make a little hallway, so we'll just duplicate it. If only real life was so easy. But there we are. So we'll grab... Go back to our props document again. Where did it go? USPSA. Yeah, oh yeah, here it is. Scrolling through all my open windows. So we're going to need 2 regular height dudes and a no-shoot. Drop him in, drop him in, grab a no-shoot, put him there, and then again, you know, just manipulate him along one axis at a time. That one actually came out pretty close. They're not exactly flush. And you can see I'm trying to drag him just a little bit to be flush with this other guy, but it wants to snap into the current location. So sometimes you just drag it away and then drag it back. And just to be evil, again, hit the move tool, press M, and we'll just rotate this guy over. Select this guy, move him over. Tweak, tweak, tweak. Yeah. I mean, it's only like these tarps are 8 feet, so it's not like a 5-yard shot. Gotta make it hard somehow. Alright, so there's that. Now we just need a barricade. Again, I've got all these. I'm not doing this from memory or anything. I sat down at the local watering hole and just sketched out all the stages over a nice Founders beer. So this is just here just to get people out away from the props a little bit and give them a cover line to use. Which reminds me, we'll drop some fault lines. Yes, we're doing cover with fault lines. We're not IDPA, so too bad. So that's our fault line. And this is where you really got to start considering where the stage is in the bay. And luckily for me, if I decide that it's in the wrong place right now in the design phase, I can just go bloop. Let's put it over here. Let's put it over here. And in this case, I actually am going to tweak it just over a little bit, just to give me a little more room to work with here on the left side. So we want another one of these targets. I'll just select him, copy him there, copy this dude there, copy that dude there. How do those angles work? This is going to be one that we'll have to test it in the real world, but that's going to be the general arrangement. Oh yeah, no, and the nice thing is I can check for shoot-throughs. So I'd have to go pretty far out past cover or past the fault line to get a shoot-through. So I can actually back this dude up. Whoop. Yeah, see, he decided to levitate, come off the ground. Just Control Z. Just get used to trial and error, especially getting started. There'll just be a lot of it. It's a finesse thing. You just kind of learn the way the program wants you to work. It just comes with time. And sometimes it's really the most like subtle changes. Like you notice how if I move the cursor just right, this door will jump. Yep, right there. Not what I want, but you know, if you can, yep. You just learn to run the machine the way it wants to be run. So the fun thing about this stage is we're gonna have. Whoop, no, we don't want one of those. We want a fault line. So you can't go through the door. There's going to be a fault line there. Again, when you're in this move mode, you just click one of these red circles to rotate the item. And we'll just drag it to be right there at the door. And to make it kind of IDPA-ish, I'm making this no man's land type thing here. So this is not going to be an allowed shooting area. And actually, once again, kind of improvising on the fly with some of the tools. So we'll take this X, and we'll actually use it for our start position. But then we'll make another one here. We'll grab this paint bucket tool. How do I select what color I want? I haven't used this extensively. It's alright, we'll do it live. By the way, I am watching Facebook and stuff, so if you guys want to send me a message if you have a question or something. Or I think you should be able to comment below on YouTube. I don't know. Let me look. No one's commented. 2 people are watching. 2 people have thumbs up. So I guess that's a good thing. Nobody responded on Shooters Club. I posted the link there. But all right. So how do I pick which color I want to paint this thing? I know there's a way to do it. Oh, this is... Yeah, paint bucket. Oh, I made that thing white. This just may not work. Or, let's see. Entity info? Yeah, so I've got this screen. Can I make it red? Yeah. Alright, so that's red. How do I... Can I paint bucket that on? No, that'd be too easy. What do these buttons do? Yeah, okay. I want the red. Make it red. Okay, maybe this wasn't the best idea. Like hey, I mean, yeah, okay. Red. Makes that red. Alright, well, this is what we'll do. Delete this guy, take this guy, make him there, rotate like so, rotate like so, select both of them, make them a group, move them to there, paint bucket. Oh, you're kidding me. Edit group? Haha! Sweet taste of victory. Hit escape. Oh, spacebar, then escape. Can we scale this guy up? push, pull, rotate, scale. Here we go. So this is one of the other tools you can use. Basically, you select something, you can just make it bigger or smaller. So that just kind of fills that area. I mean, it's pretty much like designing a stage, right? You take the props you got and you somehow make it work. So, all right, now we've got our little no man's land shooting zone. So you can't stand out in the open and shoot these guys. You'll have to stand on the left side of the fault lines. Okay, so you open the door. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so that's going to have a problem with the walls. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, and I think I was going to move this guy in. Throw a no shoot in front of him. Just to make life a little bit more difficult. Yeah, that should be fun. So, I mean, that's basically it. That's 4 stages. That's the ball game. I'm being informed. Oh, there's chat. So, yeah, someone informed me there's chat. Got a couple watchers. If anybody's got any questions, I'll do Q&A and that sort of thing, but otherwise, I mean, that's a couple stages. Now, obviously, don't expect it to be this easy the first time. I think that when I first started playing around with SketchUp, it took me like an hour just to make El Perez, and that was finding props and doing that sort of thing. So, Dropbox, SketchUp, 2006, stage 3, save, done. Yeah, okay, so I'm getting a question in the chat about how do you resize objects? Say you want a fault line shorter or longer, barricade shorter or longer, target sticks shorter. Yes, I do believe it's being recorded. I sincerely hope so. Goodness knows I put enough effort into this. By which I mean none. Okay, so for resizing stuff, that's when these tools come into play. And this is where you got to kind of understand SketchUp's original design. It wasn't made as like a stage design program. It was actually made as like a 3D modeling program for making very precise schematics of things. And so the way you have to think if you want to think like SketchUp is everything is a shape, and that shape can get longer or shorter. So a real simple example would be using this push-pull tool. And, well, no, push-pull will kind of blows your mind a little bit. So we'll just the simplest ones to think about are the scale. Yeah, the scale tool, which basically lets you resize anything. So let's say I want this barricade to be wider. The other interesting thing is, like, right now you can see it says scale about opposite point. That like scales it relative to the other corner. So sometimes, again, you just got to find the right angle and find the right little handle to make it, to be able to drag it. Oh no, that's the scale tool. What is? Whoop! No, that's the move tool. Is it push pull? That's rotate. That's offset. No, you should be able to scale this thing. Like if you wanted to, yeah, okay, yeah. So you can make it wider or longer. There should be a way. This is odd. So you can make it. Why is it doing about the opposite point? Okay, I think this might be something weird about this prop. But yeah, for example, let's just take a piece of fault line. Let's say you just want to scale it up. So you just find this little handle here. Oh, it's the one right in the middle. Okay, so if you get the handle right on the edge, that's where it's going corner to corner, and that's gonna, which I mean, I guess it works, right? You can scale both directions. But if you just want to scale it in the one direction, just find the thing right in the middle of the side and then just pull it out, just make it longer. You'd be tempted to look at it, from the side and say, oh, I want this piece longer. And no, you think of it as kind of in and out, right? You want to push and pull pieces to be shorter or longer. So with this, every once in a while you'll move the camera weirdly and have to play to get it back around. But all right, here we go. So we'll try and scale this barricade because now you got me. All right, so we select the barricade, get the scale tool. Yeah, grab this guy right in the middle. See, again, I showed it earlier. I was thinking about trying to scale the visible edge of it, but you have to think the way SketchUp thinks, which is that this is a giant three-dimensional object. And that way you can make this a big old fatty jumbo barricade or something. I haven't had to do very much of that, just because so many of these props have been made for me already. Like, if you told me I had to start all over again and make this target stand prop, or make this target cutout, like, I would probably quit and go back to making stages on paper, because that would just be so tedious to me. But since all that stuff exists, here we are, and we can use it. So there's that. Yeah, let's take an example. You talk about target sticks here. Let's say for whatever reason we want this guy to be shorter. So we'll edit the group, which lets us edit each item individually. We'll select the target and we'll make him... No, go down. Go down. All right, change the angle. Move him down. And then if we wanted to make the sticks shorter... So the sticks in the stand are a group. So groups can nest one within each other. So we'll edit that group. There we go. Now we got the stick. We'll scale this guy. And again, if you think about it as operating edge on, sometimes you got to zoom in real far. So we'll select this whole thing. And the way I could tell I hadn't selected the whole thing is I only had the handles around one edge. So I could manipulate. All right, Open Broadcasting Software tells me we're back on the air. Sorry about that. My power decided to blip and basically just reset the router. My computer's fine, monitor's fine. So anyway, let me see what I can see. Can I go to the preview? There's a chat. All right. Relation in IPSC about the sticks not extending past the target's shoulders, but we want our targets to be very prim and presentable here in the States. So for actual USPSA matches, they're supposed to be trimmed to the target's shoulder height, like so. So that's how that would work. If you want to ask me how to make the target stand, I have no idea. I mean, I guess a lot of time and Bezier curves and that sort of thing. But there you go. I'm being told by a Canadian in the chat, for those of you watching this later, because dear God, I do hope this was recorded, that they'll bag the targets. They'll leave the sticks on so they can bag the targets, which makes sense. That inclement weather. And some of these props are really nice. You know, they'll have a swinger or a plate rack or something. Some of them are just kind of dumb. Like, why do you need a thing here that's a target that's rotated? I can take a target and rotate it in not even 10 seconds. Like, boom. Not not hard. But it's better to have too much than not enough. I wish we had walls like this that we could use for ports. We just have those tarps and we haven't cut holes in them yet. Although maybe that's an idea. And of course, no steel indoor. Not yet. We're working on the range owners. But all right. Well, I hope this was helpful. I know it was dreadfully boring and long, but if you have any questions, you can hit me up, ben@triangletactical.net. Find me on Facebook, the Triangle Tactical Facebook page there, or just send me a message on YouTube. Thanks, guys.